All right, so on the last videos, we were looking at Metasploit msfvenom for payload generation, staged and stageless meterpreters within that, and then we were looking at msfconsole for running exploits. Prior to that, we learned about reverse shells, creating a reverse shell through Ncat on the target Ubuntu machine from the attacker Kali machine. I wanted to figure out how to set up a meterpreter session and do a similar thing, setting up a reverse shell. I was trying to connect and use the Ubuntu machine once again, but that wasn't working, so I'm going to run a local attack on myself so that we can see how it works. So we're going to be playing with msfconsole and msfvenom. Once again, msfvenom is going to generate the payload that we need on the target side. We will be using our local IP address, so we can check that right here, 127.0.0.1. And Kali Linux, we need to know the architecture here, and we can do, I believe, uname-m to see that it's an x64 architecture. This whole thing basically is synonymous with x64. If you saw just x86, that's a 32-bit architecture. So what we want to do is load up the payload, or rather generate the payload for Linux with an x64 architecture, and we're setting up the meterpreter reverse TCP payload. We need to specify the local, or rather the attacking IP address, so that this can create the connection request to my attacking machine. Typo. That's our attacking machine IP that we're trying to connect to with this reverse shell. And we need to set the port, which is going to be 4444. We're going to set the file type of this payload to be an ELF, which is Linux executable file, and we will output it as local payload. Without specifying a path, it'll just stick it in our current directory. So we've got msfvenom creating a payload. This is the payload path here. Keep that payload path in mind. We'll have to load it on the other side as well. lhost is our IP address for the attacker machine. Port is going to connect the two via port 4444 or any. And file elf, local payload is the file name. You can make that file name anything you want, and we'll get that set up. Once that file is created, we'll have to make it executable as well. We'll get there in a moment. We could search for our exploit. It's going to be the multi-handler. See if I got that right. Yeah, number 4 here, generic payload handler. This will set up the listener, and we can do use number 4. Hit enter on that. I'm going to hit clear to give us some space. This is where we're setting the same payload again. x64 meterpreter reverse TCP. That looks good. We need to set our local host. Since we're creating a reverse shell, we're using lhost. If we were performing a direct attack, it would be our hosts, not an equal sign. I keep doing that. So lhost there, lport, set lport 4444. We can see what we set up with show options. Boom. Those are the 2 items we put in. And now we'll clear it out to give us some more room again. We'll run exploits, or you can use run and then backspace, rather the -J argument for it to run in the background. So now we've got a reverse handler on our IP with the port 4444. Let's get rid of this. This is our attacking machine. This is our target machine. Just pretend that for now. We need to make the payload executable. Local payload. And then let's go ahead and run that sucker. So this is going to create the outbound connection request that our attacking machine is listening for. Just pressed enter and the cursor drops down. It's working. And now we have session 1 open. So we are effectively in. In my experience, I'm running commands and then it exits out. Who am I, for instance, and then it seems to exit out. But I can run we can do a show sessions. I think we can just type sessions, yep. And then if we want to interact with a session that's active, interact with the I argument, and then it's ID 1 for that session. So we'll hit 1 here, and now we're currently, as they say, we're in. Fam, we are in. We're hacking it all now. So we could say cat, let's see, check out the password stuff. We could, where's Shadow live? I can't remember. Where's .shadow live? Linux. Oh, well, that's easy enough. Let's try cat, same one, etc. Shadow. Sudo cat. Oh, I did it wrong, that's why. Sudo cat etc shadow. Cat etc shadow. I'm just curious. Shadow. Operation failed. Ls, etc. A. Let's see what we've got for the dot files. Hidden files. .java, .pwd, .lock. Let's see if there's a shadow file. Shadow right there. Read write and read access. I think we are admin, so let's try again. Nano, etc. Shadow. I want to see it so bad. Operation failed, core channel open. We'll have to do some extra learnings on that, but here we are inside the machine. So that's how you establish the listener with msfconsole. Pardon me, it's msfconsole. I've probably said that wrong 54 times. msfvenom to create the payload, and then ultimately that payload file needs to be on the target machine and be executed at some point. That might be through a phishing attack where you send an email with a seemingly harmless file. When they open it, it executes this payload, something like that. And once the payload is running, the listener catches it, and we see the sessions. Oops, let's do back. Let's do quit, and then try sessions again. There we go. So no active sessions. Now we're running a session again. There we go. So that's how you attack yourself with meterpreter, establishing a reverse shell on your target side, running the payload, listener catches it on the attacker side, and then you have command line access right down here. So that is that. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any corrections, leave them in the comments. Otherwise, play responsibly, do good things, learn real good. Bye.